Let's look at the Projects module. You can go to the Projects module by clicking on the Projects on the left menu bar. On the landing page, the grid will have the project code, project name, client name, and other details of the project. In the landing page you have grid view and also a cards view. Let's see how to create a project, add the commercials, how to plan a project and finally how to add logs. Click on the Add button up top to create a new project. Wherever you have a drop-down, it means that it's coming from the masters. Here you can see that there is a client group and a client name. A client group can have multiple client names with different billing GST. The client group and client name comes from the master. Next is the entity. It also come from the master. Then the project name. Next is the project category. On choosing the project category, it will give you the option to choose the team. This is already predefined in the project hierarchy, which would be mapped to the project categories. You can add multiple users on all levels. All the drop-down fields are search enabled. Project overview is basically the project description and you can enter multiple descriptions. Next is the billing status. For non-billable and non-core function you will not have the engagement letter. Let's have a look at the billable one. First you have to enter a start date and end date. Then choose the type of engagement letter. If it's an open-ended project, it will be renewable on a perpetual basis and you'll get a reminder on the set end date for renewing it. You can upload the engagement letter by uploading it. If in case it is a close-ended project, you can choose the renewal type and add the expiry date. Based on the renewal type you'll get a reminder to renew it. After add all the mandatory fields, you either save it or submit it. Save option will save the data and a project will be created without a project code. You can find the project you created on the project's landing page. On the Actions column, you'll have Edit and View. For proceeding further, you should click on the Edit option. Here you can edit and update the fed information. Once done, click on the update icon on the bottom, you will be redirected to the commercials module. This is the commercials screen, where you can schedule the invoices. The project value, start and end date will be auto-fetched from the project screen. Choose the frequency type from the drop-down. You have one-time, yearly, monthly, quarterly and milestone-based predefined frequency. If none of them are suitable, you can choose the custom date. Select the appropriate invoice method on the top. Let's choose the frequency as one time. Add the start date, end date, the amount, and submit it. You can add multiple frequencies. Now let's choose quarterly, add fee start date and amount. It will be calculated for each remaining quarter. Ensure that the invoice amount you added for each frequency adds up to the project value. There is also an option to add milestone-based frequency. Milestone name, fee start date, end date and finally the percentage for this milestone. Whatever percentage you add, will be calculated from the project value and will come as the amount to be invoiced. Make sure the percentage adds up to 100, else you won't be able to submit. Edit is available for all the entries. You can also delete them. Once a project is created, you can go to the Invoice module and see the invoices in the Scheduled Invoices tab. You will not have the option to request an invoice if the invoice date is greater than the current date. If neither of these options given in the frequency type are suitable for you, you can always choose Custom Date. You can click on the View icon and have a look at all the project details. After adding a project, let's plan the project. Click on the Plan Project button on the Actions column. It will take you to the project template screen. Here you can choose predefined templates that come from the master. If the template you want don't exist, you can always create a new one or ask the admin to do it for you if you don't have the access. Let's choose a template. After choosing a template, you will be redirected to the first level of the template. It can be a milestone, task, or even a subtask based on the template you choose. Here, in this case it is a task. Click on the Edit icon on the Actions tabs. This is the Edit task screen. Regardless of the template, the first thing to do is to add the start and end date. If it is the last level, you can select the criticality, assign the resources and add the estimated hours. Once you have planned a project, the Plan Project button will disappear and you can view the task you added. Let's have a look at the Logs module. By default, you'll get the weekly view. You can also add a daily log, but the most convenient one is the weekly log. Based on the login, your name would be selected by default in the drop-down. If you're a team leader, your team member's name would also come in the drop-down for you to select and add logs. Choose the week you want to post logs for. Future days will not be available for you to post logs for. So, here for the week I chose, logs have already been entered and submitted, hence the save and submit are disabled. Once submitted you will not be able to edit the logs. Now let's add logs for a different week. As you can see, there are already some entries that the user has saved. Let us add another log here by clicking on the Add icon on the right top corner. To add a log, the user must be assigned to a milestone, task, or subtask, whichever is the last level based on the template you choose. It is imperative that the user has a task assigned to him for putting a log. A new line item would appear, where you can choose the client name, project name, and the milestone, task or subtask, whichever is the last level. Add a description for the log if necessary. Finally, add in the time spent on each task. Add the minimum hours required for each day based on your organization's minimum requirement. You can save the logs at any point. But in order to submit you would have to meet the minimum requirement. Once submitted, you will not be able to edit it. This your daily logs view. Another important point here is that you will not be able to log an expenditure against a project on a specific date unless you have a log entry for the same day. You can add expenditure directly from here by clicking on the Add Expenditure button on the top, or by clicking on the Raise Expenditure option on the left menu bar. With this we have finished the project creation, commercials, and logs.